So Laura, I really appreciate, you taking the time to do this quick Zoom chat with me. And I wanted to talk to you because you've had some very good, fast results as a CDLP. So my first question though is, how long have you been a mortgage professional?
I have been in mortgage for 20 years now, originating.
Nice. And you've only been a CDLP for a couple months, right? I think you went through my live class earlier this year in March, if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
right, March.
So,
Correct.
so you went through in March. We're wrapping up May right now. So you figure a full month and a half, because by the time we got done with our virtual live class in March, it was second or third week of March, actually.
Yep.
So I'm just going to actually say a full month, so my first question is, other than how long you've been in the mortgage industry, is what did you think about the class itself, the CDLP certification program?
The class was awesome. Everything, actually. It was a little overwhelming, to say the least, just because there was so much information. So much, to remember, to learn. You're awesome too, in the sense that you give us, it's everything is given to us. I mean, you provide everything. So it's not like we have to reinvent the wheel. And I think sometimes because there is such a lot of new, knowledge, that it can be a little overwhelming. So
yeah. Well, it's overwhelming because a lot of mortgage professionals, they think, well, you're just going to review mortgage guidelines as it pertains to divorce. We don't do that. A very small part of our curriculum is that, the bigger part of what we do as CDLPs comes from the background knowledge of divorce, family law as it relates to real property, financial and tax planning as it involves divorce, mortgage, property, and then the real property itself. And then, rolling some of that into really utilizing certain, guidelines we have and doing our own little tweaking of them, if you will, to make you that full-rounded divorce professional who offers mortgage financing. And I think that is the biggest aha, moment when somebody goes through our program. They're like, oh my gosh, like you said, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming because it's new information that they didn't think about, and they don't realize how intersected divorce is with mortgage planning and what we do as certified divorce lending professionals.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then my next question is, I know once you finished our CDLP program, you then went through our business development program. And I loved, you executed, and a lot of people, they go through, specialty programs like ours and others, and they don't execute, so what were your thoughts then of how we have put together and structured our business development program that's included, with the CDLP certification? And not only, what did you think about it, but share with everybody what you shared with me a couple of days ago about your results.
So there's one thing that I have to bring up, because this was, for me, it just stuck. And it was, Jody, when you said, if you think it's going to take you 6 months to start your business, your practice, it's going to take you 6 months. Mm-hmm. And I knew right then and there, I just kept hearing you over and over. And I'm like, no, just buy the envelopes, buy the blue envelopes, print, get your stamps on and just get it done. And that was just my first, initial reaction, was to get the wheels moving, put it in motion, because it is a process, and the process makes sense, so I literally followed it to a T. So if you can read, black and white and listen, it's there for you. And I think we get in our head like, oh, when I'm ready, or I don't know it that well, I can't start, and we can give ourselves excuses, but I just knew, I know how I am, and I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to be that person that it's going to take me 6 months, because I've already
Yeah.
said it's going to take six
What is
months.
that? Analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
You sit there and you overanalyze, you second guess the knowledge that you learn, and it's like, just execute it. There's time to build on, other things, the knowledge, et cetera. Well, just, for everyone listening, the blue envelopes that Laura was, mentioning is only part of our, business development program. And it does involve, that aspect. You can go the cold, direct mail approach, which works, gets their attention, or, obviously another one is building your network live based off of other people. So knowing that you implemented and executed on the blue envelope process that we have, share with us, when you've called, that first person to follow up on the direct mail package and set your meeting, how did that go?
So I literally just followed the plan. If they didn't answer, I didn't leave a voicemail, and then I went to the email. And the reason why the process does work, and I realized this after I, got into maybe like the fourth or fifth person, I thought, of course, they received the blue envelope and they were so excited to hear from me. But no, and then I followed up with the email. Well, then I learned that they never got the envelope.
Yeah.
I mailed to an office that was closed. So all of the systems that are in place, they work, and they kind of piggyback off each other. So if the blue envelope didn't make it, or let's just say the gatekeeper opens the mail. Well, she never knew it was a blue envelope, but she got my perspective booklet. So it was still a talking point, and it still made sense. Had I not followed up, I wouldn't have known the results, right? And I never would have got through. So it works.
Yeah. So tell us then about the meeting you had with the attorney, your first encounter with him, and, walk through, how you helped you manage the meeting, et cetera, and what his reaction and response was at the end.
So another thing I remembered that you said was stay on track. You have 20, 30 minutes, stay on track, because if you don't, you're not going to get your message across. And he tried to start interviewing me, and I had to say, can I, may I please, give me 2 more minutes. And then he was receptive. But had I not done that and controlled the meeting up front, who knows, we could have still been talking, and I never would have, said, this is why I'm here. This is, thank you for your time. But I had to control the meeting. I had to control my narrative. I got all my points across. So it was, I think he, respected me in a way, because I was respecting his time.
Yeah, that is huge. A lot of people make the mistake of, well, I'm just going to go out, I'm going to meet with a family law professional, and I'm going to tell them how I do mortgages, and they don't want to know that. That's our job. They want to know, how can you, as a CDLP certified divorce lending professional, help them? And you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't approach it as to, this is how I can help, it's not just mortgages, it's about making sure the language in the settlement agreement marries up well with guidelines. It's identifying, shortcomings in the settlement that is going to hurt the divorcing clients in obtaining mortgage financing now or in the future, and pointing out to them that direct intersection between divorce, real property, and mortgage financing is huge. And I always love it, divorce professionals across the board, it's a real eye opener to them as to, oh my gosh, never knew that. We've been settling divorce cases all along, just assuming you can go out, you can buy a house, you can refinance, there's a lot of things that they don't know unless we really bring it to their attention. So how did that meeting end for you?
The meeting was awesome, actually, and just doing the interview questions that you kind of coach us on, I learned that he was also in probate. So I got to bring up the Garn-St. Germain Act, and he was like all impressed, I kind of geeked out on that because, it's just kind of cool when they're like, oh, and I refer to myself as a divorce professional, so all of the lingo and everything that you tell us to say, I made note of that. And I came in with my my bullet points and my notes, and I just, to stay on track, say these key words. I never said I was a lender or a mortgage loan officer. I just stuck on course with the fact that I was a divorce professional working with, the divorce team, the entire time. So it was awesome. He actually was like, I can't wait to tell. I have a few attorneys that I'm going to talk to about you. And so I didn't even have to ask for the introduction. It was like, he was already thinking of all these people that he knew that I would work well with. So it was very exciting, to say the least. It was a great meeting. And then I followed up with the email, just like it's laid out, I have followed everything so far, and it is working.
Well, I'm glad. And if I'm not mistaken, you have like what, 4 more meetings scheduled?
I do. And then I continue to prospect. So I got 6 new envelopes out. I'm working, Arizona and California. So yeah, it's exciting. And, I have to be patient now because I have to wait my 10 days before I can pick up the phone and call.
Yep. Part of the nurture campaign.
Yep.
So, which is good because I know that you're part of our marketing platform as well, with our digital, the CRM that manages that, so once you get their permission, if you haven't already, after you have the meeting with them, get them on that, newsletter cycle. And, a lot of our CDLPs, they get responses from the divorce professionals that are in their CRM for the CDLP, because all of our newsletters, are educational based. They're how can, you, with this type of divorcing client in this situation benefit from, this, whatever the topic is of the newsletter. And I think, because it's not salesy, it's not about mortgages because they don't care, that's not their job, but educating them just constantly, like I know we have a new series coming up about, we have so many people that contribute money, or they have parents even that give them a down payment for their house as newlyweds. And then all of a sudden they're getting a divorce. And now the parents want to get involved and they want that money back, and it's fine if they want to figure that out, but they have to be careful of the verbiage and language used in the settlement agreement because it can trigger us to do a totally different type of mortgage. And they don't understand that. So the knowledge never ends. The intersection never ends. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for you, to see how you're just going to continue to grow, after just 1 month, it's amazing. And again, I appreciate you. Is there anything else you want to add? What your plans are, your expectations, your thoughts?
I will say that, to those on the fence of, thinking about the business development, I encourage it 100%. I am familiar with coaching. However, this is different. And this kind of reminds us to how to stay in our lane really. And, more of the divorce professional than the salesy, traditional loan officer. I can say that honestly, every session I've picked something up, you think you know it all and you don't. There's just always just good constant reminders of things, or just piggybacking off of each other, because like I said, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We are all kind of, in this together, learning and feeding off of each other. So I just think it's great, great network and great support. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that very much, Laura.
Yeah. Thank you.